So the battle for five-star cornerback Charles Lester is one that we've watched and talked about here on the channel several times, and for quite some time now it's looked like it's been trending towards Florida State. However, as a last-minute visit was announced where Charles Lester is going to be visiting none other than Coach Prime in Colorado, now we've got to ask the question, should Florida State fans be concerned? Something we're going to talk about today. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill. I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe Florida State fans need to be concerned with this visit? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions seem small. They are massive to content creators such as myself. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, Charles Lester is one of the best prospects in the nation, regardless of position, a five-star cornerback through and through. He ranks per the 24/7 Sports Composite as the number 19 player in the nation, the number 2 cornerback, and the number 4 player in the state of Florida, a state absolutely loaded with college football prospects in the recruiting class of 2024. And as I alluded to in the intro, there has been several big-time institutions trying to chip away at Charles Lester, but for a while now, it looked like Norvell and Florida State were in a prime position to land the five-star cornerback. And I'm not stating that this visit will change that, but I do believe that the timing is interesting, and we cannot ignore the history with five-star defensive backs and Coach Prime. We're going back several classes now. He's been able to pull something out of the hat at the 11th hour. With Travis Hunter and Florida State, I don't need to reopen those wounds, Florida State fans, but it is interesting and pertinent to the conversation at hand. Where Travis Hunter was a long-time Florida State commit, some thought that he was an absolute lock, and then in the 11th hour, Coach Prime flips him, not from Florida State to Colorado, not from a Power 5 to a Power 5, but from Florida State to Jackson State, and Travis Hunter eventually follows him from Jackson State to Colorado. Last year, Kermani McLean, five-star defensive back, longtime commit to the Miami Hurricanes, ends up flipping and going to Colorado. So at this point, we cannot ignore the results that have been shown before us with Coach Prime and being able to get in very talented defensive backs. If you're someone sitting there saying there's no way Coach Prime can land Charles Lester, you haven't been paying attention to what's been happening the previous few cycles. Now, you might be of the mindset that it's going to be incredibly difficult for Coach Prime to land Charles Lester because of the relationships Norvell and this staff have built, and that could be a reasonable take, one that I'm not going to debate with you, because that I think could be a very reasonable, logical take. But we also must give credence to what has happened the previous few years, where Coach Prime comes in the 11th hour and absolutely ruins someone's time as they thought they were about to get a very gifted defensive back. There is another interesting tidbit here, one we absolutely have to discuss, because a current Colorado commit, Carl Lewis, has announced his intention to transfer high schools and play his final year with none other than Charles Lester at Venice High School in Florida. These two have a long-standing relationship, does Carl Lewis and Charles Lester, as they play on the same 7-on-7 team. This is something we've got to watch, because I have no doubt that Lewis will be chipping away at Lester the same way Coach Mathis, the defensive back coach at Colorado, will be chipping away at Lester, the same way Coach Prime will be chipping away at Lester. But there's one thing we've got to acknowledge. At the end of the day, Coach Prime moves the needle. And it is notable that he is getting a five-star cornerback to come and visit Colorado when everything looked like it was trending to Florida State. He has flipped five-star cornerbacks before, and though Charles Lester is not currently committed to Florida State, I think we also need to acknowledge that Coach Prime moves the needle. He's done it time and time again, and it'd be foolish to think that it's impossible for it to happen again, because history has proved otherwise, and history, if you're not careful, can repeat itself. So it's going to be very interesting to see both how Coach Prime and the Colorado staff navigate this, as well as Mike Norvell and the Florida State staff, because the last thing Norvell wants is a repeat of the Travis Hunter situation. But I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments, let me know exactly what you think about this. That's it. See ya.